Ta da da da. Ah. Doc here from North America. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. It is Thursday, one day away from TGIF. Looking forward to it. Let's see, what do we have going on in here? Uh, B of E, Bank of England, keeps policy unchanged, tells banks to start preparing for negative rates if necessary, but sees a spike in inflation. Wow, crazy stuff, huh? Right now is bad. Disease plagued China pig herd in dark winter. No wonder we keep on seeing our grains and our herds going up in price. That's what we see here in the States. They're buying the meats. They don't seem to let go. It just seems to be more and more buying. And remember, that's why we trade currencies, so you can purchase something from another country in their currency versus your currency, that type of thing. What else is crazy out there today? Not much. More than those two. Usually we see a lot more. Yesterday I really got on the shtick of Blinder possibly being the next Fed chair. That's interesting. Never really thought about it too hard over the whole election cycle, but that really jumped out at me. I was like, wow, Blinder's probably going to be the next Fed chair because we got 2 more years of this Fed chair and then or a year and a half of it, and then Blinder, who has been the vice chair at times, is the darling of the left. So good chances are is he'll finally become the Fed chair, and that'll be very interesting with Yellen in the Treasury and him in the Fed. Wow. Long-term equity question marks. I guess it'll be that low, steady drive up. Currency pairs will be slow, steady, sideways down. You can see this morning as we look at the Swiss franc, the dollar is lifting again. That's what we've been saying in webinars here for over a week. We've been saying strong dollar pair, dollar, warning, Will Robinson, dollar. And so, the headlines are dollar ready to crash, dollar ready to crash. But with the policies of Yellen and then Mr. Blinder down the road, no reason for a crash in the dollar. They're just going to firm it up, make it solid, so that we can buy what we want, where we want, at cheaper prices outside the United States, and use that as a tool to reward foreign nations to be good, to do what America says. That's what it really comes down to more than anything else. That's that leftist point of view here in the States is pain and pleasure. So anyway, let's get rolling along. You can see there on Chicago Quant, you can see the Swiss is moving up firmly. You can see same thing over here on J4X on a weekly basis. It has been much, well, this is an average, with the Hinky Ashy. So let's just go to the day real quick. And there it is. You can see that baby is rocking. There's some real strength in that too. So, we see the CCI breaking off a little bit, but not on our weekly over here. You can see the weekly's going for the moon. Skyrocket. Now, the daily is rolling over, and that's what we're looking at right here. It is rolled over a little bit in here, probably just trying to digest the smoothness in here with the rampage right here. And you see how it did it here, and it went sideways. So we may just fall into I'm not even sure what that line is. I guess that's one of those, oh, I know what it was, is the 90 area. For a long while, the Swiss had a real battle with that 90 area for 6-7 months, and that line is still sitting in there. And now we're climbed back up to the 90. So I guess what we're really looking at here is the strength in the dollar, and using the Swiss franc, the saltine, as the identifier, being able to really see that strength. So the action is up and away. This way, like I said, the Democrats here can punish any nation that doesn't play nice. They'll just aim that strong dollar at them, and when they do play nice, they aim the strong dollar at them and say, "See, we can reward you. You don't have to change your economic policies. Our strong dollar will advance your workforce because we'll buy things from you." That's how they did it for China. And so that's what they're doing. They're prepping it up. And yesterday it all came to me. I realized, wow, wait a second here. Fed chairman's going to be disappearing in a year and a half, and who do you think will step in? Blinder, of course. And then that whole nature. Now we've been watching the platinum against gold, because we're thinking that spread is going to fall into the sixes and then the fives and so forth, and gold itself will have its problems. And as you can see, the Reddit slash Robinhood vigilantes are having a hard time propping up silver. It's a very hard thing to do because the central banks have no matter they saw the same short circumstances, and they said, oh wow, GameStop was able to get up to almost $500. Now it's trading at like $90, of course. So those poor people who in the Reddit slash Robinhood universe who bought the GameStop up around 480 and 490 or 470s or 460s is losing 75 to 80% of their equity. And you can see here that same circumstance is starting to play in with pairs trades. Dollar strong. That's why every day now you notice my headline is something to do with the dollar, because it's screaming at us that they're going to put it back into that strong suit like it was during the Obama years. And the stock markets will go quiet. They'll be sideways but strong at all-time highs and things like that every so often. Lots of little all-time highs. But you're not going to see a stock market, the Dow Jones Industrial Average, go from, say, 30,000 to 60,000 over the next 4 years. It'll go like 30,000 to 34,000 or 33,000 back down to 25,000. It'll vacillate. It'll be higher in the end result, but it won't be the return that Mr. Trump gave us with a stock market that almost tripled in value from the 12,000s all the way up to the 31,000. So, all right, let's move along here and let's take a look at the euro. See what the euro is doing there. It's a quiet day. No one really has any questions out there. Why is the sky blue? There we go. And you can see that is the euro against the dollar, and obviously it's doing its thing the same way, also heading down. And then we go over and take a look at it right here on the Chicago Quant. Same thing. See where we've been in a daily sell. We've been in a weekly sell since this week here. And, that was in a daily sell throughout that whole slide, and then we went into a quick little bump, a bimp, as Inspector Clouseau would have said, a bimp. And then we went right back into the sell again right there. And the pressure is on. And, hey, there you go. Hey, Robin. It's a quiet Thursday. It's a mother-loving Thursday. So we're just kind of marching along here. And Doc's interpreting and anticipating the actions of the market now, what we're going to see. And I'm just, as I've said to you, I think we're looking at a Yellen spread. And then I realized yesterday, Blinder will probably be her wingman. So you have Blinder and Yellen. Oh my God, that could be really fascinating. I mean, we had Bernanke and what do we have? At one point, I guess we had Bernanke, and then we had Yellen, and and then the markets were, I guess, sideways with the Yellen in there and the Obama Secretary of Treasurer. But now Blinder in there and Yellen. Oh boy, that could be fun. There's George. Hey, George. So, it's we're really coming into that entertainment side of the election now, where you just watch the new policies and you go, wow, how do you make money out of this? Which pairs trade do you want to be long? Obviously, anything that has a dollar involved in it, you want to be on the long side of the dollar until further notice. But as far as I can tell, those cute little stories about, oh my God, the dollar is going to crash, and I always said, where can it go? We threw up Bitcoin. We're going to be seeing what Ethereum is going to be, the other cryptocurrency. We'll get a flavor of where you can run to, But the only place really to go is the dollar. The dollar will be very firm. It'll be paying an interest rate, whereas, as I read that headline to you, Bank of England keeps policy unchanged and tells banks to start preparing for negative rates. Now, you're a money manager. Oh, you're excited. Oh, boy, I can't wait to buy negative rates. That means I buy your bonds and give you money. I don't get anything, and I have an automatic loss. Oh, yeah, you'll stay in the investment community real well doing that. Yeah. Oh yeah, you'll get your 2 and 20. Sure you won't. All right, let's jump over to cable, the epicenter of that headline, right there. Wow, they dipped it for a little bit, but it's popped back up, hasn't it? That's a nice tail on there. Let's see how it looks on the Chicago Quant. Right there. Okay, yeah, it's trying to. They sold it down and then try to perk it up. We've been in a sell. Now we're flirting with that weekly thing. That thing it does. I guess we could put a cute little. It's Thursday, so I guess we could put a little warning sign in there about it trying to play with the weekly sell like that. And we'll move that over. Just no. Let's see what we got. Is that a line 2 in there? Maybe we can remove that line. There we go. And we'll fix that. And put a dotty thing in there like that. And that's what that's doing right there. It's playing with the weekly. It's drifting underneath, as you can see. It's a minus 0.00022. Remember, Doc made this for atomic theory, so it can get very sensitive. Very sensitive. That's what makes it accurate. Anyway, that's where we are. And you can see the little curvature up from that big tail there. We put Bollinger Bands up there months ago, and we were watching them. I guess we still pay attention to them on some level, the way it bounces off of it. I kind of find this more interesting. We go through here, touches the Bollinger Band, and then we start to spike up on the next day, and this does the same thing. It starts to go to the top of the range, and then obviously when this gets through the top of the range, I guess like here, I'm not sure. I guess the 0 line is the safest. You see where it goes into the sell and goes down. So it's just something we were playing around with. I haven't seen John in a long time. Wonder what he's up to. All right, let's jump over to the Turkish lira. That's always a fun thing for us to jump over to. Right there. We'll put it up on the Chicago Quant. Right there. You see it's trying to turn up a little bit. Look at that white line going towards the time manifold. But the weekly doesn't have any concern about that. And it's still down for the day. And so you can see it, what is it, on line 17, we're now 7 weeks in a sell and 12 days, like 3 full weeks. It's heading for 3 full weeks in a sell. Wow. So, winner, winner, chicken dinner. Yes, indeed. And you can see here it's trying to do a little bounce, but even the white line is still not piercing the slow stochastic. And the CCI has turned up, but not anything too exciting. Let me just double. Oh, you know what I didn't do? I didn't check my sound. Let's make. I guess you would have told me by now if I'm not making. Oh, there it is. Okay. I didn't check the sound. I have that particular computer on a headphone set, so I meant to put the headphone set on for a second to hear if I was making noise. And I am. I honestly am. All right. So now we go from Turkish lira to Canadian. Let's see what the Canadian's doing. What did we do on the spreadsheet there? I think it went into a daily sell, right, on line 20. Oh, no, it wasn't a daily sell. So we're looking at 2 days in a daily sell and 11 weeks in a sell. Ooh. Now you can see here it's trying to lift up on the J4X. Let's go back to that. You can see, well, I can see it was lifting up, and now it's in the sell for a few days there. And let's take a look at it on the Chicago Quant right there. Same thing. And it's been in the sell since this big top up in here, and you can see it's flirting with its weekly buy right there. So the action is they're trying to buy some Canadian, and that means usually the oil goes down, but we have seen the NASCAD go up, and the Canadian is losing value against the dollar. And we're seeing people buy oil. So, are they buying oil for oil, or are they buying it because it's denominated in dollars? You just never know. It's that whole thing that we talk about where, you can, reach into some of these very liquid commodities and use them as dollar offsets. Remember, and I'm sure you all won't like remembering, and that is that the Treasurer of the United States and the Federal Reserve kind of have this measurement system that they don't exactly explain to us what it is, But what it does do is it tells you if a country is manipulating its currency. Now I have no idea how they. I don't even speculate on how they figure that one out. But I mean, because since the central banks and everybody are involved in keeping these things in order, you cannot just go and print more than you're allowed to print, obviously. And we see that at the end of the year, which I did not see this year. I've not seen any reports so far of the Fed lending money to any of the central banks. And we didn't see any real wild moves either, too. So it was a combination of all of it. Maybe because I keep on talking about that, this year they hid those numbers. Maybe. I mean, I pointed it out for half a decade how they borrow 30 and 40 and 50 billion dollars from the Federal Reserve to balance their books towards the end of the year. Like Switzerland does it, and British, the Exchequer does it. We've seen ECB do it, and you start to wonder what is going on there. I mean, these guys and gals are creating money out of thin air. So why would they even bother to buy or borrow money from the Federal Reserve? Well, there's only one conclusion to that, and that is obviously they're all enforced. And then we see every so often the Treasurer will come out and say, "Oh, it's official. China is not manipulating its currency," when in fact we know it is. But as far as they're concerned, they're doing what they're supposed to do, whatever that is. And they won't tell us. They won't tell the traders. They won't tell the public. They won't tell the taxpayers. They refuse to tell us what's going on. They just give us a nice little signal like, okay, it's a party today. A sip of the water. So this year we did not see a lot of borrowing from the central banks, which, again, I'm a little confused there because normally we do see that. And, they borrow from the Fed then they pay, I don't know, something crazy like $60 million, $40 million. Do they really pay that, or is it just a bill and then they tear it up? Who knows? I mean, none of it makes any sense anymore. So that's where we are. So now, if we're seeing this strength, or I guess you could call it weakness in the Canadian, and then let's take a quick look at NASCAD. And these two pairs have a natural tendency to reflect what's going on in oil. You can see the strength there. I guess as we drift, okay, and yeah, we're in a daily. No, we're playing with the weekly sell. No, it's a daily sell. I see. And then it tried to go into the buy yesterday, and now it did go into the buy yesterday, and that should be down here. So it went into the buy. Let's take a look at that on line 23. Yeah, we went into the buy right there. Bing, bing, bing. Buy. Okay. And it seems to be holding up, but not a lot. But it is moving up, so I would assume as we go over to the commodities and we take a look at crude oil. Let's go to crude oil. Right there. It looks the same, basically. Now, it's kind of impressive. We are playing with the highs. And, I think it's a dollar thing myself. I really do. I think that they're just reaching to be long dollars, and the oil is a cheap way of being long dollars, and you can put a synthetic on at the same time. Protect yourself in case some type of collars or something like that. And this way you're kind of benefiting from a strong dollar, and then you're not manipulating your currency at the same time. So that's and I guess I bet the central banks like that, or the Federal Reserve in particular probably like that. This way they don't have to, keep things pumped up. Now we go over to natural gas, and there's natural gas, and it's gone into the sell a couple days ago, and it's pushed back down. Let's take a control R of that, see how it looks. Yeah, still. Now it's up a little bit today, but you can see overall, and it's holding up in the weekly buy. So they're not really selling the heating oil, not heating oil, the natural gas off. The natural gas is holding its value. So there is that. And then what we do is we run over to the bean oil, the commodity bean oil, and take a look at that. That's the last of the three of the. We pay attention unless you want to see gas oil. If someone wants to see gas oil, we'll put it up. But that right now, knowing we don't have anybody following it, so there's no reason to really pay attention to it too much. And you can see here, bean oil is trying to lift up today. And you can see it there. And it failed at it yesterday. I thought we had a green line there for a warning that this was trying to do that. So what we're going to do is we'll throw this in there like that. And so bean oil is lifting up. And, you know, that headline that we read a little while ago about the, where is it? Right now is bad. Disease plagued China. Pig herd in dark winter. The high price in December was at least partly driven by a disease. That's what they say. So, let's see if we can get a feel for it. Let's see. Government data shows China's pig herd expanded by 31% in 2020. Okay. Outbreak of disease could hamper the hog recovery after African swine fever contagion a few years ago wiped out about half of the country's herd. Wow, that's hurt. Now a herd, you know, hogs take about 6 months to go to market. So you have a baby hog, it grows, and you can usually butcher it about 6-7 months to eat it. So maybe that might be too graphic for some of you, but that's the way it goes. So I mean, I'm a little surprised of the issues that they have going on there. But there it is. That is the bean oil, and that's having an effect on obviously the grains. I guess we take a quick look at the grains. There's soybeans looking very firm. Now that was in a buy yesterday. I'm not sure why it's not. It was yesterday. But let's give this a reshape. See if it straightens that out. Yeah, there we go. It was in a buy yesterday, and it's firm today. You know, nothing major, just firm. And yeah, it's bad enough, not bad enough, but it's high. I mean, it's hard for farmers to deal with this high price. You got to really put collars on to protect yourself. You know, sell calls, buy puts, and at the same time, pick up some cheap calls above that in case it explodes to 15. So at least you make 3/4 of a dollar somewhere along the line. I mean, that's the way it usually works. Oh, there you go. Hey, 72. What's your view about silver? Yeah, isn't that fascinating, silver? They say, I think it was Robin it was saying. Was it you, Robin, it was saying to me? That was you or Carl was saying to me. One of the two of you said it to me. If everybody bought 3 ounces of silver in America, they would break the Federal Reserve. That's funny. But anyway, let's take a look at silver and see what's going on. We'll go through the metals complex. Let's check that out. And there's silver right there. You see we're in a sell from here. That crazy vigilante day, you know, where they're trying to, you know, shake out the shorts. And you see we're in a weekly sell from here. So our right now, as far as we're concerned, the pressure is on the downside, and it's been on the downside. We're in a daily sell and a weekly sell, so that's a winner chicken dinner here. Our math is saying be short if you was it. Here's a better one. What was the old rhyme I used to say? If you long, you wrong. That's it. Using my hood conversation, my dialect from living in the hood when I was young. So you long, you wrong. That's right. So we closed here, and our math was in a weekly sell, and then smack-a-doodle from the close of 29.41. We've now gotten down as low as 26.35, and today we are trading at 26.56 with a 33 low. So how's that, 72? Does that make sense? You long, you wrong. That's right. Middle Age says, can't see, Doc. Oh, I'm sorry. You can't? I can see it now. Oh, I see. It's pushed over too far. Oh, let's fix that. Oh, thank you, Middle Age. There it is. You long, you wrong. I like that. I miss my old shop mates. My old schoolmates from the hood. Nothing better than playing, was it water polo? Naked with a bunch of brothers. That's right. It was always fascinating times. All right. Let's see. Trust me, it was a violent game too. Definitely a violent game. All right. Now you can see. So that's good. Not you? It was Carl then. Carl told me that one. Told me that yesterday. I was like, what? Yeah, he says if everybody bought 3 ounces of physical silver, it would knock out the Federal Reserve altogether. Be like, wow. Let's see. Now you can see the screen. All good there. Yep. So that's what we see there. So it's a winner chicken dinner, or I slide back into my hood, conversation. What's up? And You wrong, you wrong. That's it. Always liked how they rhymed about things. Very musical. Very musical. All right. Maybe that's why I like to sing at the end of the webinar. All right. Let's see. What do we got going on here? Let's take a look at Silverado and the J4X right there. Same thing. White line is trying to break down here. We broke down a little bit further back, but that's all right. You know, it's just something, like I said, this correlates about 68% to our math. So it's better than nothing, traders. And you can see here the weakness started. Let's go right to there. You can see the weakness started here. And Hinky-Ashki matches our dots, but it's usually like about 8 hours old or something like that. It's a little sloppy, you know, a little sloppy there. So, but again, better than nothing, traders. If you're not looking at Chicago Quant, at least you got the J4X. You know what I'm saying? Hey, you know what I mean there, huh? Hey, yo, rock. All right. Now let's drift over to where are we at? We're looking at CAD. We looked at oh no, that's not silver. How did we do that? I just clicked on silver. There we go. That's better. Sorry about that, traders. I was a little confused why it was lagging like that. Now that's better. So it was a day later on the sell. And even then, this was still green. So we just have 2 days of red where we have a bunch of days of red here. And then the data changed. There was some type of screw up with the amount of data coming in. Not on my part, on the source itself, which is one of the major brokerage houses on the planet. And that's where that data comes in from. And then these things were plus, and all of a sudden, by Friday, the close of Friday or over the weekend, they pumped in some data, and all of a sudden it was minus. But I didn't care. And then when we got the daily sell here, I was like, okay, we'll just throw the daily sell in. Bang. And sure, bang, it was right. All right. Now, let's drift over to, let's see where we go from here. Oh, I know what I want to do too. So does that answer you, 72, about the Silverado? I hope you're getting satisfaction. And then let's take a look at gold. There's the gold right there. Gold's also dipping down. Been in the sell there even before the vigilantes got going. And you can see we're in a weekly sell, and you know it's doing its dance, and it's, you know, not the place to be long. And again, if we're gonna have Blinder and we're gonna have Yellen together, you gotta assume that it's gonna have issues. Save, and let's save that. Let's move that down too. There we are. And there's the gold. Now let's jump over to platinum, because we really think that the platinum is going to outperform. Let's give it a Control R. So where's the spread today? So the spread today is 10.95, and then we look at gold again, 10.95. So let's round it out to 11. So it's really 7.22 now, something like that. So it was 7.38 yesterday. We keep on saying we'll be excited when it hits it's like the Gong Show, you know, the old CIA case officer that had the TV show, the Gong Show. It'll hit 6.99. It'll be fun. So that's what's going on there with the platinum. We'll save that. So there's the three metals. Let's take a look at copper. Copper, I think, popped into a buy. What's it say over on the fact check spreadsheet? That's line 8. Yeah, it did. It jumped in a daily buy. Okay, there it is right there. And let's give that a refresh. So that's firming up again. And you can see we're playing with the weekly. We were at a weekly buy for a long time in this product. All the way from the 310 area. And it ran up to the 370 area. And then we went into a sell last week, and now we're just climbing right back into the buy again on the copper. Beat. I don't take the rumor beat. Let's see, thanks. Let's see, what's that, 72? I don't take the rumor bait. You mean what rumor's that? On the metals? I honestly don't know what the rumor is. There's a rumor out there on metals? What's the rumor? that they're going to go flying up, or yeah, I'm curious. I'm with you. I follow numbers. That's why we do Chicago Quant and J4X. We follow math. We don't follow the rumors. I agree with you. What is the rumor? Just a couple words about it. Do they think it's going to be like through the roof, or is a conspiracy plot with Q, or all knowing, all seeing Q? Remember, he was a what was he? He was a character in Star Trek. Oh, okay. Hmm. I'm answering the text. There we go. Just wanted to answer. There you go. So, let's see. Oh, okay, good. The rumor on silver last week, it skyrocketed for a day. They can do that to stocks for a little bit more easier than they can do to Federal Reserve, because you're fighting all the central banks, you're fighting all the Federal Reserve itself. Awful hard to shake that up. Matter of fact, it was the only metal that really could get something going. I agree with you, 72. The rumor was that Reddit group would next take on silver. Yeah, I saw that on Saturday. That was really wild. I was looking forward to Sunday night open, and sure enough, they gave it to us. It was a fun opening, but they suckered those naive individuals. We should have them all come here and hang out at Dukascopy. Give them some real trading, because they're definitely getting their toesy woesies stepped on hard. All right, let's save the copperado. There's copper. All right. Now, what's the last one? So we did what? We did silver, we did gold, we did platinum, and we did copper. Okay, so we did them all. Let's see, the rumor was in Reddit, but they really did not at all. No, they did in a very short period of time. The central banks must have been laughing their head off. And, Robin and I have talked about it. I mean, it's hard to get physical silver. And what'll be interesting is when the silver contract comes to expiration, how much action that could be. Boy, that would be a great binary to buy. Buy a binary in silver, right up going into the last couple days of expiration of the futures contract, and then see what happens from there. That could be really, really interesting. Could be very profitable and low risk, since it's a binary. All right. Let's see. Where do we did the energies. We did the gold and the metals. We could go do a look at the stock indices. If you read the group, there is no talk about silver. You mean right now? Yeah. Well, I imagine there was one conversation about it. The conversation was that they may be holding on to their positions. Remember, a lot of these Reddit Robinhood people are willing to take major losses. I mean, take major hits, and then hold on to the very end. And the explosion might be literally in the last 24 or 48 hours of the expiration. You think? Yeah. You think it was? So you don't think it was Reddit or Robinhood that was saying we're gonna squeeze silver? You think it was the central banks putting that rumor out there? That's a very interesting point. That wouldn't surprise me in these days. Nah, I think that's let's put it this way. A lot of things are conspiracy, but and tinfoil. But I don't trust the central banks as far as I can throw them. Yeah, I agree with you. I don't trust anything they say. I mean, they'll say something sometimes with fundamentals. That's interesting to see, the policy. But do I really trust them? Nah. Nah. That's what's so nice about the Swiss National Bank. Swiss National Bank publishes everything they do, and they do it. And they make it very clear that they're doing it. And so you see the transparency. But I don't see a lot of transparency in the ECB or the Federal Reserve. And a good example, another sip of water there. And another good example was when the Exchequer out of London, their central bank, sold that stock in Bank of Scotland and stunned the population up there. Like, where did the Exchequer get that stock? How did they sell 10% of the company? It's like, guess what? They own most of it. Let's see. Like in 2011, decoupling. Oh, what the metals market away from reality? Yeah, anything's possible. I have no doubt. Hey, if the central banks want the metals to be low, they're going to be low. They're not going to let them take off. I mean, remember, they ran up under Mr. Trump because he believes in free markets and free people. And the people in power now have no interest in free people or free markets. So, I hear you. I mean, that's what we're going through at the moment. That makes total sense. The Swiss Euro peg. Yeah. I see. Yeah. Was that? I think that was 2014, wasn't it? Here, let's put that up there and show some of the traders what you're talking about. J4X is really good for that. We'll go to dollars. We'll go to Euro Swiss. That was real fun. We went into the sell. It collapsed, and in that week we went back into the buy, and there it is right there. Let's make it a monthly. And that was really exciting action. Now this is a 1 month going back to. Let's see how far back it goes. It's loading in data. I thought it was around 2014. That's what I'm thinking. There it is. When was that? That is, 2000 deck of 2014. They decoupled the two right there. That was only like 1 week. That's a month. And if we go into the weekly, so we can get to the weekly and see it. There it is right there. It only lasted for like a week. We went back into the buy. The following week it went up and kept on climbing. I thought that was really cool. Yeah, they squeezed a couple. I think even Dukascopy lost like 30 million on that one. I remember, it was one or two houses went out. Another half a dozen got some, squeezed a little, that type of thing. I hear you. That was interesting. Let's jump over to the indices. We'll put let's put the where's it at? Right there, the Tech 100. Let's put the daily in there. There's the Tech 100, and we can widen that out too. Boy, it's just been one long climb, and now I think we're starting to top out in there. And let's take a look at the Tech 100. These are the stock indices, and so there we are. There you can see. Matter of fact, look at that. It's trying to roll over a little bit in our work. Just on the edge. We're climbing back into the weekly buy. This is real confusion, isn't it? We're in a daily buy. They closed down yesterday. Now we're lifting back up today, and we're heading into a weekly buy going to the end of the week. So, yeah, I think there was 2 or 3 operations that went bankrupt over that. That's what they're going to do these inquiries, or they're going to do some testimony with Reddit and Robinhood and all that stuff. And they're going to find out that they were just following rules to the, they needed to raise capital. They had to stop their customers from, buying because they didn't have the capital to compensate for that. In other words, they couldn't give them margin to do that, that type of thing. So more than likely that'll straighten itself out. And you can see here's the S&P 500. It closed in the daily buy 2 days back, and it's, waffling along. So, and that's also traded at Dukascopy. You can do the S&P 500 also. We can put that up there. There it is right there. Right above the Tech 100. And like that. There we are. And then we go over and we look at the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Yep. And it's climbed into the buy there. So we can remove that, put that right there coming into this morning because the bar did what it's supposed to do. And so let's do a control R there. The grand old lady of the indices. Does have 6 NASDAQ stocks in it now, the Dow Jones Industrial Average. So it's not a New York Stock Exchange index anymore. It's It's a hybrid at that point. Well, New York Stock Exchange is owned by ICE, so the New York Stock Exchange is not the New York Stock Exchange anymore. It's more like a glorified rental address. That's all it is. You can have a post on the floor, make it look like you're doing something, playing specialist, getting some paper out of it. But the volume is, they're about, I don't know, like 1/8 now? Something like that. 1/5 of what the NASDAQ does now. The NASDAQ does 5 times more volume a day than the New York Stock Exchange. And then we look at the Russell, which we think the hedge funds were using as a pairs trade. I think that's how that was being played out. And so there's the Russell. And we're figuring that they were buying the Russell and selling these companies like, GameStop and Bed Bath & Beyond and IKEA and BlackBerry and so forth, hoping to benefit from them going bankrupt. Let's see what if I look the dollar Swiss chart. You see 2 events, one in 11 and the other one in 15. Right. Yeah, I hear you. They were disconnecting. Matter of fact, aren't we? Wasn't the 11 one part of Davos? Didn't someone say something at Davos and it freaked everybody out? And aren't we just starting to go back into the Davos part of the year? I mean, I think there was speeches now from both the Chinese leader and the Russian Federation leader. Putin and X both have talked there already. And I don't know what they're going to do. I guess they'll do like a zoom in or something for Biden or something like that. Who knows? I'm not sure who's representing them there. That could be entertaining in its own right. Yeah, I think that was what it was. Wasn't it 72? Wasn't there some statement made? So it would be January or February. It was January, February, probably February of 2011, right? Because of Davos. And that's what freaked it out that first time. Now what we do is we always do drift down to the Bitcoin. I can't wait to have a second cryptocurrency. You can see it closed in a daily buy there yesterday. Not doing anything particular right now. You can see just a little firmness today. Nothing major. It's the February Bitcoin. You can see the weekly is trying to turn back up again. It's getting very close to the 0 line. So we'll see how they hold up there. And we'll save that one too. Bitcoin. Can't wait to see the second future starting on Monday. That'll be fun. All right. Let's see. What else we got? Oh, let's take a look at the what the Exchequer was talking about. And that was the interest rates. Let's see what the 10-year bond looks like in the States. It's kind of sloppy. I think it went into a sell there yesterday. I think that's what that is. Yeah, we're in a sell yesterday. It's still a little bit down in action. Oh, look at that. Bank of England boosts GBP. Let's take a look at the British pound real quick. And you can see here, it's trying to get back into the sell. We're kind of leaning down. So that means interest rates are going up in here in the States, and that's why we see the dollar being as strong as the dollar is. So let me see, who's that? That is 10-year, right? Right there. Let's do that. And then let's run over to the British pound. There's the British pound. Yeah, look at that. Trying to climb, aren't we? It's trying to climb up. There you go. Look at that. And now the histogram and the white line are moving away from the 0 line. Now they're plus. And so, yep, the Exchequer is propping it up. Let's see now. Okay, so now I see. In 2011, it got pegged to the euro. Then in 2015, there was a surprise decoupling. Right. I guess that's what it was. That makes sense. That does make sense. And there's the action we're seeing there now in the British pound. They're starting to lift this thing up. Lift it up. Lift and separate. So let's drift over to where am I at? Where was I at? I know. Let's look at the 30-year too. I bet the 30-year is heading down also. Right. Where's the 30-year? Right there. And so there it is right there. It also is playing with its weekly sell after jumping into a weekly buy last week. And let's give it a control R. So interest rates are going up here in the States, and good reason for people to reach for the dollar. I mean, they need to get some. You can't be a money manager and keep on taking losses. Remember, that's not a good thing. That's a no-no. After a while, people will not pay you 2 and 20 if you keep on losing money. Let's see. Point was you said Swiss bank tells everything open fairly except no, their portfolio. What their portfolio is. And I think it was the European Union. I guess it was the Swiss that did the pegging. Was it the European Union that did the pegging, or was it the Swiss that did the pegging? I kind of thought it was the European Union that disconnected the pegging, and also the Swiss were paying for that pegging, and so they were told you're not pegging it anymore. I think is that how it worked? No, don't shut up. We're learning here. You're making a point. You're making a good point. You're saying that they're not as visible as I said. Well, I'm looking at their portfolio. That's all I care about. I'm just watching their portfolio and how they invest it. When it comes to these inner workings of, how they're, floating money and so forth, we can't expect to see any honesty out of any of these central banks. I'm just talking about the portfolio. They publish what's in their portfolio. They tell you when they're buying in their portfolio. I think they do. They mention when they're selling. I don't know if they sell. I think they just buy. So that's what I'm talking about. 72. You're not wrong. You're right. That's all right. You don't have to shut up. That's what this is all about. This is the electronic trading pit. We talk ideas here. You get your idea out. I get my idea out. You never know. We might learn something out of it all. You never know. Don't discount. What we used to call speedballing or spitballing. It was spitballing, not speedballing. Speedballing, I think, is when you're doing something with cocaine and heating it. But it's like a shooting crack into you or something. But that's speedballing. But spitballing is where you throw out ideas like on a trading floor and you start to try to understand what you're looking at. My guess is they have talk about it, Euro or Swiss. Oh yeah, I imagine. Oh yeah, I think that's a private club. There's no doubt about that. The Federal Reserve, the ECB, the Swiss National Bank, the German National Bank or Federation or whatever they call it. The Exchequer, the Royal Bank of Canada, the Royal Bank of Australia. Oh, I have no doubt. They yak with each other all the time and are kicking ideas around, and they're running the show at this point. But it did not leak. Yeah, I hear you. Well, that tells you where it came from, didn't it? If it didn't leak, chances are it came directly from the central banks, because you rarely see any leakage out of them. The only time you see it is when they plow money into the hedge funds. Like or the banks, they start piling money into those things days ahead of time, and then the leaks come out of the banks, and they probably want that. Yeah, they probably did sacrifice a lot of people. I mean, it's that's the central banks. That's what they do. Government is bad. I don't care how you cut it. Government is bad. The only good thing about government is the military, where it protects your country and your borders. And if you're not protecting your country and your borders, then the military is bad too. So I do not find taxation very positive. I mean, we didn't have taxes going into 2000 until 1913, and our economy was exploding, and we were building roads, and people were going to school, and the whole bit. So they incorporate they start having a tax, and now we're all trading in deficits. All these countries are bankrupt basically. So what's taxation really doing? It's just making politicians spend money they don't have. They're sacrificing the people all the time. If you work for a living, you're supposed to keep what you work for, not give some of it away just because the government says you're supposed to give it away. See what I'm saying? So that's natural. They're always sacrificing the people. Just taxation is sacrificing the people, as far as I'm concerned. I don't see it as good. I don't see taxation positive whatsoever. Imagine if you were able to keep all the money you made. Wouldn't you be more creative? Wouldn't you be more concerned, caring, the whole bit? Wouldn't you donate more to charities? But if you're giving 40 or 50% of what you make away, to the government because they know how to spend it, see what I mean? We're spitballing here. Good to do. Not bad. Don't shut up. Keep on talking. Trust me, brother or sister or whoever you are. Don't be afraid to talk ideas. Ideas are good. Live free or die, brother. Live free or die. All right. Did I do that? Well, let me just save this again just to make sure we did that. And that's what we're seeing here is we're seeing interest rates move up in the States here. And it doesn't surprise me after what I really think blinder, we're going to start hearing it sooner. We're probably going to hear it in about 6-7 months. Blinder, possibly the next Fed chair. That's why we're seeing the firmness now. That money is front running that move. That's exactly what's going on. That's exactly what's going on. All right. So now where are we? Oh, so we've done that. Let's see. What else can we take a look at? Let's take a look at some of these. Let's get rid of that. Close that. Let's take a look at the dollar index itself. Right there. And here's the dollar index. And that's the UUP. It's like the DXY. It's just the ETF to it. You can see it's firm again today. That's what we're seeing is just constant firmness out of this whole game. And they don't seem to want to let go, that's for sure. Yep, see that there? Firmness. Now, it's trying to roll over a little bit with the short term, but we're in a weekly buy. And so they're just going to vacillate up and down, and, but the strength will be on the upside. And then let's save that. There we are. And then let's take a look at, that's the S&P from yesterday. It's trading now there. So we can put that little line, let's remove that, and stick that line in like so, right there. So they're reaching in, the idea is to buy assets that you can make money from. So that's what they're doing. They're slowly buying the assets of, the S&P 500, the NASDAQ, or what Dukascopy calls the Tech 100. That's what they're doing. There it is right there. There's the Tech 100 when it comes to the ETF. You see that strength. Oh, look at that. They're trying to break it down a little bit there. Well, we shall see, won't we? How about that? We can throw a little red thing in there. Where's that? Go like that. Go like that. And we'll see if that lasts the day or if it turns back up or what. It'll be interesting to see. So that's the other side. That's an ETF of the Tech 100 that's on Dukascopy. Maybe we can put a position on there, Robin, today. Maybe that'll be morning work, putting a position on in the QQQ. All right, and then this is the RT. This is the Russell. The one that we think that they made a big grave mistake about. They bought that, and we're hoping that could hedge their shorts. And obviously, in the end, that'll be a winner chicken dinner, of course, because the Reddit Robinhood people are taking it on the chin pretty hard now. Wherever they pushed all that stuff to is pretty much back down again, except for GameStop is in the 90s or 100 or something like that. And I think it was at $20 before it took off to almost 500. Let's see right there. Cool. Hey, is Middle Age here? Is Middle Age here? I thought he was here. I thought I saw Middle Age. Did I see you here? No, I guess not. I was going to say, I could put up the cotton or the... let's take a quick look at where coffee is. We're in the sell here, and it's showing some weakness still again today on the ETF. And we're playing with the weekly here. So I do that. And let's take a look at the cotton right underneath it. Cotton is... Let's see. It's trying to go into the buy today, and that's what it is. It's doing it right there. So it's in the buy from the opening. And it's in a weekly buy too. So there's the cotton. Cotton, cotton, cotton. Did you see the coffee? Want me to go back to the coffee again? Right there. So it's still weak. Lifting up a little bit in here, but looks like they're really going to push it into the sell. Huh. Do you want to see anything particular, Middle Age, before we get out of here? Because I think it's like, well, we got a couple minutes left. So we can... what's that, on the JO? You mean stays on the short side? Yeah, that'd be neat. Maybe they sell it down a little bit. This was cool. This went into the buy there yesterday. This Aussie yen. That's neat. It's in a weekly buy. And then we can see like there's the euro. You know, it's banging along the bottom. Banging down the, just not going anywhere but down. You know, I guess, like I said, that blinder thing that I had the epiphany to definitely could be slowly being realized into the marketplace. And before you know it, oh, look at that. There you go. That's that cable thing. The exchequer is trying to perk it up a little bit. We'll throw a little green line in there at the moment just to give everybody a heads up that they're trying to lift it. Cable. Right there. That is something. That is funny to watch the euro do that. Down she goes. Where she stops, nobody knows. It's like, watch that wheel spin. And then the Canadian, you can see it's doing its cute little dance thing, and now it's back underneath again. As much as it was lifting up a little while ago. And it still is, to some extent, but not the internals. That's curious, though, the weekly, like I said earlier. That is curious. We'll have to watch and see what they do with the Canadian there. Euro yen. Yeah, let's go hunt down Euro yen 47. Oh, no, hey, 44. Starbucks. So Starbucks coffee will be cost next. I like that. That's a good way of downstreaming it. Oh, and let's check out April cattle. Let's do that for him. I like that. And then we'll find Euro yen before we leave. Let's see. Let's see. Where am I at here? Cattle. Let's do the cattle real quick. We got time. So there is. What is it? That is the Fed cattle. They're not updating yet. It's still yesterday's closing numbers there. And they won't start doing anything for like another hour. So that's the Fed. Now let's take a look at April. You know what I saw? I think the back months are, there's April of this year. And that also, but I think the other one is showing more life in it. The April 22. We have somebody watching April 22 now. To be able to match up their feeders or something like that. So let's go to the April 22. Right there. Yeah, see that? That caught my eye yesterday. Now I'm not getting filled in on the weekly on this, but the daily, let's move that over to there. So the daily jumped into a daily buy there yesterday. Right there. And so, okay, that's updating too. That's interesting. So back months, they're actually showing quotes in back month. Is that right? No, they pulled that out now. Okay, now that I refresh it. But it closed in a buy, and I guess they may be giving a preliminary price. Maybe that's why it's showing a price there. So let's put that in. Let's move that down. And then now let's go find the Euro Yen. Euro Yen. There we are. The dollar. Oh, is in the way. Let's move that out of the way. The S&P 500. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so that one's actually moving into a daily buy, which is really curious. This is the April 2022. 2020. Yeah, 22. We're in 21 now. So that actually lifted up, and it actually was reflecting a quote higher there. Now, let me go hunt down. Let's see. Let's do this. Let's see if it's in here. Is it in here? Euro. There's dollar yen. Let's put euro in there just to take a look at it. Euro yen. Right there. And let's do this one. Put the weekly in there too. Woo! EUR. There we are. Speedballing. That's what it was. Remember Ricky Nelson? You know, from the Ozzie and Harriet? He died speedballing, didn't he? In his airplane. So he's flying his airplane and he decides to smoke. I guess what it is you heat the oil of cocaine? I don't know. Anyway, he died of speedballing. I remember that much. Not spitballing. Anyway, that's a long time ago. All right, so there is, here's the euro yen. And let's find a spot. Like it went into buy there on a top. And where was the weekly? The weekly was going into a buy also. And now it's pushed into a sell. Let's do this. There on a daily sell there. And then, let's see, the buy was way back here. Let's scrunch this up a little bit for you. We can use some of these. It went into a buy way back here. Right before this move up. And then, let's see, there's a sell there. Let's grab this buy. And then put it back into a buy there for this move. And then did it go into a sell here? Yeah, it went into a sell there, so we can move that out of. I guess we can leave that in there like that. Yeah, like that. So grab this sell here. So it went into a sell, and then 2 days later, next day warned you because you had the volatility signal, and this was all plus, so you would have covered your short just after 1 day. And then the opening of the next bar here, you would have taken that long. So it would have been all right because you were in a weekly buy at the same time. Now we're flirting with the weekly sell again. I guess we went into a sell here. Let's put that in. And now we're flirting with the buy again here. So let's put that in. We went into the buy. And now we're flirting with, what's the number? So it's 0, 0, 0 on the plot 1. And the plot 6, because this is a 3-5. So 5 is the super. So it's a, that's a plus also. They're both plus by the hair of their chinny chin. So it's not going into a sell yet. And then, what do we have? Let's move that over to here. I guess that's a sell. But you're in a buy throughout all this, so you can't take the sells. You only can take the longs. Like, say, that long there, which was nice. The next day you made money. And that long there, you made money. And then, what about that one? That one you made money. There's 3 in a row of wins. And then there's a 4th day of wins, 4 out of 4. And then finally, you win if you take the profit for that day. That's how that works. And if not, you can say 5 out of 6 wins out of that weekly buy. How's that? Did that help out? I'll just leave that there like that. So how's that? Was that 44? No, it was 47. Was that good? 47? Cool. No problem. Right now, 44. So the dollar index is in front. Okay. I don't think it's giving any clear signal. Oh, what's that? In the coffee? I don't think it's... Euro against the dollar also at support zones. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Well, we'll see. I mean, I think someone probably has caught on to the idea. We're seeing interest rates rise in the States, and at the same time, we are seeing a strong dollar and possibly now a real change. Oh, the Euro GPY. Yeah, well, right there you can see. Well, we can take a look at that tomorrow, too. You know, see if it gets into the sell. See how that plays out. See if it tries to bust into the buy here. I mean, it's going, it's a real tough action there. All right, traders, it is 5 minutes after, and we are going to get rolling along here. So, happy trails to you until we meet again, which will be TGIF tomorrow. Happy trails to you, to all my Forex cyber friends.